Hidden underneath the gift wrapping and celebration that followed our 4-0 victory against Norwich was a story. I think almost, I was going to say the biggest story. It's not quite the biggest story. The biggest story, of course, is that we beat Norwich. We're still in line for a European place, and we managed to get over the hangover of the Frankfurt game, as I described in yesterday's video. That was the biggest story. But let's say there was a story wrapped up within a story, a Russian doll hidden inside of another story. Let's put it that way. Now, and I think it was about Thomas Soucek. It's actually quite a big deal, because Moyes doesn't drop Thomas Soucek. He just doesn't. Not through form and not through fitness. He will tinker and he will tweak. He'll move his position around a little bit. But Thomas Soucek starts. That's the rule. When other players get rested, Thomas Soucek starts. So it was actually quite a surprise to see him not included and see him replaced by Manuel Lanzini. And we were better, by the way, which is what I want to talk about in this video. You can make the case for Soucek not starting, which I'll do in a second, but it was still a surprise. Not because his form was bad and because he might be tired, but because it was Moyes that decided to do it. Now, alongside this story, or the backdrop to this story, is the suggestion that Thomas Soucek wants a new contract and we're not prepared to give him one at the value of which he thinks he's worth. So the story goes, David Moyes doesn't think that Thomas Soucek is quite the player that he was last season, and certainly doesn't warrant the 125 grand a week that Thomas Soucek thinks he's worth, basically. But why now? Why in this particular game? This is a weird one, because apparently that's been going on for quite some time. Because actually he swapped Lanzini out. Now, I can't think it's... Sorry, swap Lanzini in. I can't think it's overly sentimental. I want to get onto the sentimentality of Lanzini in just a bit. But I don't think it was just because Lanzini missed out and was the sacrificial lamb in the semi-final against Frankfurt. I think that's why he got the penalty. I want to talk about that in a little bit. But that's not why he started ahead of Soucek. Moyes, the old softy David Moyes, wasn't saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to drop Big Sue so as you can go in there, Manuel. You know, I know your dad travelled with the away fans and was in the crowd. We feel sorry for you. I don't think there's sentimentality to that extent. I think Thomas Soucek was dropped because David Moyes thought Lanzini would do a better job, and he did. And my words, he did a much better job. I understand it was only against Norwich. I don't want to overly, what can I say? I don't want to insult Declan Rice by calling him a stopper or a central defensive midfielder. He's so much more than that. I'm fully aware that he can drive the team forward. He can operate right or left. How often do you see him when he's trying to drive the team forward, run down the left wing and dribble past players and cross over? There's a great many attacking facets to Declan Rice's game. Loads of them, okay? But for a lot of the time this season, and I would say most of the time in a game, he doesn't maraud forward all the time. For a lot of the time in a game, he sits in front of the back four. And actually, I would suggest that is what Thomas Soucek has done an awful lot this season, sat in front of the back four. So during a lot of games, we've almost got two midfielders sat in front of the defence. There was clearly a tactical decision as well going on here when he selected Manuel Lanzini to play alongside Declan Rice in central midfield, and that was, okay, I'm going to not have two stoppers in front of the back four. And my word, we looked better for it. I know it's only Norwich, but if we have to discount that and go with the evidence in front of our eyes, really. And I do wonder if that's it now for the rest of the season for Thomas Soucek, because David Moyes didn't have a choice. David Moyes had to win the game against Norwich. If you forget for a second that it is Norwich, David Moyes had to win. What did he decide to do? Basically put another attacking player on the pitch. Because he had to go for it. Losing wasn't an option. Well, in one of these two games, against Man City and against Brighton, he's going to have to go for it. I was really pleased that in his interview, David Moyes said that he said, we've got the Europa League or the Conference League. Too much Conference League talk. As I mentioned in the Man United video the other day, too much Conference League talk. Europa League is still there. And I was pleased to hear David Moyes mention it. So if he's mentioning it, he will understand the mathematics behind it, and that's we've got to win one more game and hope Man United lose. Or win one, draw one. Then we're there, we're home and host. Doesn't matter what Man United do. Can we beat Manchester City? Well, of course we can. We've already beaten them once this season. They played 1 by 3 goals yesterday, but as somebody pointed out, they're missing 3 central defenders, or 2 central defenders and Kyle Walker for the remainder of the season. If that's going to be the case, then we have to attack them. If we have to attack them, David Moyes has already shown us a blueprint of the way he perceives his attacking team to be, and it doesn't include Thomas Soucek. Now, without getting too much into the contractual situation, I was actually relieved to see it because he was out of form. I hate it when players are undroppable. I hate it when anyone is undroppable. It's never good to see that somebody just gets in the team regardless of form or fitness. But that's what Soucek's been doing all season. This is not a Soucek out video, by the way. This is not what it's about. I would hope that Soucek can sign a new contract, and I hope that he stays at West Ham, because his work rate and his attitude is actually second to none. Do you know what? He's a bloody good goal scorer as well. And I hope if he does stay at West Ham, he actually gets deployed more often as a goal scorer for the rest of his West Ham career. I just don't want him to be a guaranteed name on a team sheet. And I was pleased about this because Lanzini made us tick yesterday. He really did. I thought what was it? It was actually the goal at Benrahma's second goal. Was it West Ham's third? It must have been West Ham's third. Well, it must have been because Lanzini scored the fourth. I thought that the dribble and the pass that he then did to Jarrod Bowen, the sort of reverse pass, Bowen crossed the ball over, Benrahma finished really well. Great bit of skill, great bit of play, but all the time you could tell Declan enjoyed playing next to him as well. There's a lot of pass and move, there's a footballing understanding, there's just a level of technique and passing which just isn't in evidence when Thomas Soucek plays. It's not what Thomas Soucek does. As I've been saying for a little while, Thomas Soucek is outstanding in either box. Put him in our box to defend when the opposition are clearing the balls, crossing the balls over. He's as good as a centre-back. He really is. Great at interceptions, great at blocking. Put him in the opposition's box, swing the ball over. Well, he's scored some great headers, hasn't he? And actually, he's pretty good arriving late at the far post and using his feet to score. Very good in either box. Centre of the park, not so great. Not so great. Lanzini was absolutely outstanding. And I was absolutely delighted to see that. Before I go any further, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, which you can download by using that link below. Literally under there, there's a little pop-down. There's a pop-down body of text under each YouTube video. Did you know that? And under this one, you can click on a download button for the OneFootball app. I know you've come from Hammers Chat, so we really appreciate it. It's a brilliant app. It's got all the world football news, Premier League news, European news. But if you just want the West Ham stuff, click on it, tell it you support West Ham. It puts it all into one place, packages it up for you, delivers it to your phone, and best of all, it is free. So just going back onto Lanzini a second, I wanted to deal with a comment which was on the YouTube video yesterday, and it involves why Lanzini was given the penalty rather than Benrahma. And I just really wanted to make the point on this because I've got to be honest with you, I wasn't overly enamoured with the comment. Let me just bring it up for you now. Now, I don't want to give the person's name particularly because I'm not looking at, people to sort of dig them out, but this was a really disappointing comment for me. And it explains an awful lot why it's a difficult one, right? Benrahma played really well yesterday. I mean, really, really well. And I was absolutely delighted for him, gutted for him that he got an injury because I think he would have been our first choice. He would have been in the starting lineup from now until the rest of the season, the same way that I think probably Lanzini would. However, he seems to be a divisive character. Not a character, there's nothing wrong with his character at all. A divisive player. As a lot of these, skillful players are. And unfortunately, even though we won yesterday, there are a lot of people who are sort of Benrahma supporters. You sort of almost can't help themselves. It's not enough just to enjoy the win. There's a certain no going on. Look, there you go. There's Benrahma. We told you he was good. I just don't understand why you would do it. But I wanted to bring this up because one of the reasons I like Benrahma. I really like Benrahma. When he plays well, I like him as a person. When he plays well, I think great. Okay. When he plays badly, I think well you would crap. As I will with anyone. Somebody once said you either love or you hate Benrahma. I don't agree. I'm sort of in the middle. I just, if he plays well, great. If not, and particularly I love his skills. I love it when he does the skillful stuff. One of my concerns, he doesn't do it enough. I don't see enough of the skills. We should take people on more often. That's what I really like about his game. What I don't like about his game is that I think he pulls out of tackles. That being said, I don't think he did that yesterday against Norwich. I really don't. I thought he put in a hell of a shift, actually. But anyway, I hope that when he plays well, you call it as it is. When he plays badly, you call it as it is. Like anybody else. Unfortunately, for some people, it's just a Benrahma show, and that's what annoys me. I'm going to read you a set of comments here, which you've got to bear in mind as you're reading this. We've just won 4-0. 4-0. This video that I did went up 2 hours afterwards. Okay, so here it goes. It says, Noble, as his name implies, being Noble, a big player with the character of a real captain. Great start to the post. Basically, the character of a real captain probably felt that Benrahma could score a hat-trick. I think this goes on to the point that Mark Noble is obviously the penalty taker, usually the penalty taker. So Mark Noble has basically decided who takes the penalty. Anyway, so probably felt that Benrahma could score a hat-trick. I was disappointed. Nobody can argue about this. Scoring a hat-trick in an EPL game is not that easy, let alone getting a chance from a penalty kick. All the commentators were speechless seeing Lanzini taking it after talking about a hat-trick opportunity for Benrahma. Okay, firstly, here's my problem with it is the annoyance that Benrahma didn't complete his hat-trick seems to supersede the joy of winning the game. And this is my biggest issue with Benrahma. There are a load of people that are such big Benrahma fans that actually Benrahma's more important than West Ham. And that annoys me. I've got to be honest with you. That annoys me. I don't think it's fair on Benrahma because that makes you think, well, hold on, this is not great. Anyway, goes on to say, and I say this is after a 4-0 West Ham win. Benzema offered the penalty to Rodrigo in the Champions League semi-final against Man City. Rodrigo refused to take it. Benzema knows what that could do for a young player. Did Lanzini do the same thing? I mean, can you see where this is going? I hope so you share my frustration with this. Because this is not an isolated post. This has been a theme all throughout the season. The post goes on to say, I like Lanzini. I'm looking for videos online from fans to see. I hope he did. To get this right, basically the person that's written this post is going to go looking for videos that fans have posted, basically phone footage, to see if Lanzini went and offered the ball to Benrahma. Why would you do that? Why would you go and search out videos to confirm something that you perceive has happened that would annoy you? Why would you go and watch videos of the goals? Or the win? I don't understand. I really don't understand this at all. It says, yet again, if a manager wants to reward a striker for his hard work instead of breaking his heart, suggesting Moyes has broken Benrahma's heart and spirit, he would never send him off after scoring 2 goals. He didn't get sent off. I think the person meant be substituted. He was injured, okay? That's why he went off. I think Benrahma would have played the whole game. The team has a lead 4-0 with 15 minutes before the game ends. Moyes' great tactic to prepare a striker mentally for a tough game coming up next week is astonishing. Where is the team spirit? I mean, there's just so much wrong with that post. I think everything is wrong with that post. Okay, I think there's plenty of team spirit. I was absolutely gobsmacked by how much team spirit the team showed to bounce back from what we saw against Frankfurt. I think it was really quite impressive, actually. And possibly, I think it was Haroon said on the comments, actually, it was probably the most important thing. More important than the goals and all the stuff was to show that we had that sort of mental fortitude to bounce back, basically. Let me just explain why Lanzini was given that penalty, just in case you're in any doubt at all. Lanzini was the sacrificial lamb. Okay? He was the sacrificial lamb against Frankfurt. Basically, Lanzini didn't get to live out his dream of playing in the semi-final because Aaron Cresswell got sent off. Aaron Cresswell felt terrible for the team. Aaron Cresswell felt terrible for Lanzini. The whole rest of the team felt really bad. The whole team knew that one of them had to go. That person was Lanzini. All the rest of the team felt bad about it. Particularly, I think Lanzini's family, Lanzini's dad often travels with the away fans and is often to be seen in the away ends, right? Lanzini's a popular member of the squad. So actually, for Noble to decide, or the team to decide, that actually the person who set the penalty was Lanzini, that is team spirit. That is why. That is sentimentality, because here's the point. The moment Noble doesn't take the penalty, it becomes a sentimental choice. So there's 3 sentimental choices. Number 1, does Cresswell take it to help him repair? Number 2, does Benrahma take it to get his hat-trick? And both of those are sentimental reasons. Benrahma doesn't need another goal. Benrahma's already played well. Benrahma's on his way to getting man of the match, right? He doesn't need it. But it's a sentimental thing, because we've already established the best man for the job is Mark Noble. Or the 3rd sentimental choice is, shall we give it to Lanzini? Basically, you had to take one for the team in what was probably the biggest game of his career. The answer that they came up with was the 3rd sentimental choice. But to find offence in that is really weird, is really odd, I've got to say. To go and then start making comparisons about Benzema, to be offended that Benrahma didn't get his hat-trick, and then to actually try and find something with Lanzini that you thought Lanzini was mean-spirited, and actually you hoped that Lanzini was going to go and offer the hat-trick, the chance for a penalty, to Benrahma, and actually you're going to go and try and seek out videos to prove this, I found completely and utterly weird. As I say, I don't want anyone to jump on this person on the post or anything like that. I really don't. But I just wanted to make this point that I found this is exactly the type of thing that I've found all season. And it's really bad, because there's a load of us that just want to be pleased for Benrahma having a good game. And yet there are a number of people who come back and it's very much making a Benrahma point on a point when it is about the team. The fact of the matter is, and this is what I think yesterday, Bowen with 3 assists, Benrahma with 2 goals were standout players in yesterday's game. But you know what? So was Lanzini, who made that midfield tick really, really well. I thought it was a great performance. Getting back to the subject matter at hand, I thought Moyes set out his stall for the rest of the season by selecting Lanzini ahead of Thomas Soucek. Now, I do think that Benrahma was probably a part of that. I think Benrahma would have seen out the next 2 games, basically, and would have started. Such was his performance. The worst thing about Benrahma is not that he didn't get offered the 3rd goal for his hat-trick. The worst thing about Benrahma is just analysis of a player, and that is that unfortunately he's got an injury and he looks like he'll be missing the last 2 games on the season, when for the first time he's just sort of looked like he may well be the best player we've got to play in that left-hand side of midfield.